De este negocio no hay salida. Y tú le perteneces al cartel. Y tú y tu familia no van a ir a ningún lado.
Guys. I'm a little disappointed. Since you've been here, I've had a nightclub shooting downtown. I've fielded about 20 trespassing complaints in Little Havana. And a freaking car blew up.
Hey, we didn't plant the car bomb.
Listen, I spoke to your lieutenant in Atlanta,
And he'd love it if you went home.
Give me my last rites, buddy.
You're not dying.
I know. I'm a model of good health. But just in case.
Only a priest can give the sacrament of last rites.
Come on. Altar boy. Can you just perform some prayer for the sick?
Now that was impressive. From his early days as a dancer to his recent role as Jose Menendez in True Crime's The Menendez Murders, it's Carlos Gomez who's here to visit us, and we want to talk to you about the whole career.
Let's go. Let's do
welcome.
it. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure to be here on your show.
Well, Carlos, I've known you for a while, but I never knew that you actually started this career as a dancer.
I did.
Talk to us about that.
Yeah, I used to be like a break dancer, plopper, locker, and then when I moved to New York, I started, taking
From
more
where?
classes.
You moved from-
I was born in New York, raised in Miami. I'm Cuban American. Then I moved back to New York. And at 19, and then that's when I kind of started my dancing career. And I worked with Michael Peters, who is the Michael Jackson's choreographer for Thriller. I never did one of the videos, but I worked with him as a dancer. And then after that, I worked with Rebe Jackson, the oldest Jackson sister.
I saw that
one of
video. I was
the-
blown away.
yeah,
But
yeah.
I know you as an actor. I met
Right.
you like around the time where I went to do a set visit at Dr. Quinn Medicine Woman.
Yes. Sometimes it's hard to make the transition from dancer to actor because they always think, oh, well, he's a dancer who wants to be an actor. And so I kind of had to start from scratch. I quit dancing and then just.
But you're in that
did the acting.
category with other dancers like Michael De Lorenzo.
Yeah. We all, Michael De Lorenzo, we all were in that kind of same time frame.
And Carlos, your face appears on so many shows, on so many movies, like Fools Rush In. It's like
Right.
one of those iconic characters. Talk to us
Chewy.
about that. Working with Salma.
It's funny because I worked with her before on Desperado,
Yeah.
and that was a big thing because it was one of the first movies for all of us. It was Robert Rodriguez's first
Right.
big movie. It was Antonio Banderas' first American movie. And Salma's first big hit,
Right.
big movie. And it was great because it felt like an independent movie. We were all in Del Rio, Texas, stayed at the Ramada Inn. So we were all like, it was a guerrilla kind of filmmaking. And we shot it in Acuña, Mexico, where they shot in Mariachi. Same place, but now with, a budget of, $5-10 million.
So you met Salma there.
I met her in an acting class, actually.
Oh, wow.
I met her, it was a funny story. It was an acting class in Hollywood. And it was a Shakespearean class. So I'm in class, and all of a sudden this little Mexican girl starts, and she goes up and does and she starts, because of that, and she did like Caesar, and I'm like, who is this girl? Like, with this really hard accent. I'm like, who? And and then we became friends from there, and then,
And then you wound up Fools Rush In, which I love that movie.
Yeah.
As actually my daughter just told her gringo boyfriend to watch it because he's
Right.
going to come and meet us. And so it was where it was a culture clash, and
Yeah.
you're the boyfriend, the mean.
The mean ex-boyfriend,
Yeah.
the cop. Yeah, it's funny because a lot of people remember that. I think more people saw the commercial for the movie than the actual movie because me and Matt have a scene in that. And yeah, I played Chewy, the ex-boyfriend. Everybody remembers that movie, but it's funny because it was one of the first romantic comedies that dealt with diversity and the
Right.
white and the Hispanic.
I love that
Yeah,
movie.
and people still like that
Totally.
movie. Still, it's been 98,
And-
99.
Right, and then you've had such a fulfilling career, and you've worked with so many amazing people, like even Lin-Manuel Miranda, right? Talk to us about that experience.
That was amazing. That quick story. I was in New York, and I went to see In the Heights off Broadway because I was just there. There was this show called In the Heights. I go and I see the show, and like 10 minutes into the show, I was blown away. And I cut to 3 months later. They say, "Listen, the show's going to go to Broadway, but they're going to replace one of the actors, and it's the father, and I think you'd be perfect for it." So I went to New York. I auditioned, got the role, and 3 months later, we opened on Broadway.
I know,
It
I was blown
amazing.
away because I'm like, I didn't know he did musicals. You do
Yeah.
it all. You've been in so much. You did The Glades,
Yes,
which was
The
for 4
Glades.
seasons.
Yes,
You
yeah,
played
yeah.
a detective. And also,
The Menendez brothers with which has been a
Yes.
huge
that was a tough
hit.
one. Yeah.
Talk to us about that.
But no, I want to know about his upcoming gig, because I tell you, like I said at the top of the show, he works so much. He just finishes one and he's got the next one lined
gotta
up. So
keep
what is
working.
that you got lined up?
I just have a movie called Trial by Fire with Laura Dern, and based also on a true story in the 1990s of a man who was accused of murdering his kids in a fire in his house.
Oh,
And he
wow.
was put on death row. He was sentenced to death row. He was executed, and then later on, they find out that the evidence posited that maybe he wasn't.
Well, speaking of evidence, we have to wrap up because they already gave us the mark. But I just want to ask you really quick. You play the father in the Menendez miniseries.
Yes.
The kids claim that the father molested them, and that was
Right.
their motive to kill them.
Correct.
What do you think? You played the dad. Do you think the dad actually did that to the children?
I can't judge the character. I mean, I'm playing the character as it's written, so I had to play a certain. I have my personal feelings of what I think.
Right.
It was very difficult for me because he was Cuban. He was a first immigrant. And it was very tough to think that this man who had gone through so much to become who he was capable of doing something like that, because he was one of the biggest Latino executives in Hollywood at the time.
Right.
He left $14 million to his
Wow.
kids, so it was tough, and if he did, now people are talking more about it, so it's something that it brought it to light. So if anything, people are having a conversation about it now. So
Well,
Thank you
Carlos,
so much for
thank
doing
you
that.
so
Thank you
much.
for
Where
having
can
me.
people find you on social media?
it's Carlos Gomez
It's
on
Carlos
Instagram
Gomez.
and Facebook. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah,
you.
yeah.
We'll
Thank
be
you.
watching for
Yeah.
the next gig. You've always
And you
got
can
a
see
gig.
it. You can also see on Hulu or NBC on demand. You can see you could stream the whole Menendez brothers right
And
now. if you wanna
I
see
saw it all. It was
Yeah.
wonderful.
Thank you.
Okay, so coming up next, we have a guest who turned health issues that she had with her children into a business. It's an amazing story, and you're going to get to learn all about it, so stay tuned.